Salute, salute, and welcome back to Tuesday Tea. I guess we'll call it. You know, I'm even debating. Maybe it's. Do we need to change the jargon, the lingo? Cause I'm sick and tired of tea. I'm not gonna lie. I'm tired of tea. I'm tired of wine. I'm tired of all of that bullshit. Like I'm just tired of it. Like it's just
That
we need to change the lingo, change the jargon. It's been tea and all of this, ever since they had the little memes of Kermit sipping on a cup of Lipton's. Like it was cute once upon a time, but I think we just need to. I don't know.
no, you're right.
Are we
You
past
know,
kneeling? If we're past kneeling, are we past tea time? Like it.
we passed the damn tea for
I
damn
don't
show.
know. I don't know because it's not giving. It's not giving what it's supposed to be. I told you the whole like lineage, like or should I shouldn't say lineage, but the backdrop or the origin story, better yet, of where tea comes from.
No, you didn't tell me.
Okay, before we get started, hey everybody, let's get into a little and I think it's fitting to tell this story. 333. I think it's very fitting to tell this story, especially considering some of the things we're going to be talking about today. Um, so tea was something that what they used to call cross-dressing community before trans became an accepted group of people in the United States. It was very risque. It was very, very, very like it was so much more on the down low than down low. Like it was, you had to go to special clubs to see, performers. Because that's what they were called. They were called performers. They were, female impersonators. They were cross dressers. They were this, that, and the third. So anytime you would have this group of people, like we're talking about back in the 70s, back in the 80s, early 90s, they would say, my tea,
Oh yeah. You were You were telling me. Okay, yeah.
my
Just reiterate
tea.
those in the back.
And the tea was their truth about who they really were, about what they really were. So that's where the whole tea thing comes from. So when I started hearing people say it, in social media, oh, what's the tea? What's the tea? What's the tea? And then they took it and made it sound like, oh, I'm sipping on this tea. They kind of popularized it. They made it acceptable outside of this community. But that's where the whole tea thing comes from. Before the transgender movement became a thing, that's what they called it. Their tea, their truth. So when people start talking about, "Ooh, what's the tea? What's the tea?" I find it interesting that now essentially what this so-called, "Ooh, I'm sipping on this tea and the tea and the tea," it's all a bunch of bullshit. It's just a bunch of lies. Mostly tea these days is just cover up, gossip, nothing real there, which is funny considering where that phrase comes from. Because, oh, I won't, if you're nice to me, I'll tell you my tea. Or once I get to know you better, I'll tell you my tea, my truth, that I'm really not a woman,
Mm,
that I really have a penis.
mm.
So it's wild to me because like this is such a tricky place to be in this day and age when it comes to what pop culture is, what's acknowledged is real. Um, it's tricky. And today, as a bisexual woman who came out of the closet in my 40s, because I felt the need to be completely transparent about myself, about who I was and what I was, something that I had kept. I won't say I kept it because I think anyone who knew me should have been able to figure it out. I hung in strip clubs. I had transgender assistants. Some of my closest friends were gay. I was always a tomboy. And I always had an extremely liberal outlook on society. One of my most favorite people growing up as a child was my uncle, who died from full blown AIDS in 1989. I was 12 years old. I was there when he took his last breaths. He was bi. He had a male and a female partner, and both of them were highly promiscuous and known to use intravenous contraband. They all barely survived after exposure. 2 years. The woman went first, then my uncle went, and then his male partner went, I guess, about 2 years after him. So understand when it comes to the LGBTQIA plus community, which once upon a time was just considered alternative lifestyle before it became a rainbow, before like I'm not new to this. This is not going to be an easy conversation we're going to have today. Actually, it's probably going to be a little jarring for some, a little upsetting for others. But as a bisexual woman who also believes in the principle, and when I say the principle, I'm talking about what would be considered God's principle, because I do believe in God's principle. I also believe that people have the right to choose who they're going to be or how they want to live their life. That's why we're all given free will. But just because we have free will does not make us exempt of the consequences that come along with our actions. You know, we all have to get real. Like it's just time to get real. And I'm watching so many lines get blurred that people are not paying attention to what's happening right before our very eyes. And we have to start calling this stuff out. Or we have to accept the fact that we're like low key welcoming it in. We have too much normalization of things that should not be considered normal, in my opinion. Which is why I find it funny. And I guess that's why I wanted to start off talking about the origin of the word tea and where it really, really, really came from and what it was meant to be. The usage of it, anyway. I'm going to be holding a lot of black women accountable today. Because, in my opinion, black women now, especially those who are engaged in pop culture, are like, I don't know. I, I, I don't know how else to say it. I think it's gotten to the point now where we're kind of protecting G rumors.
Hmm.
I think it's gotten to the point where we're promoting and celebrating and, protecting G rumors and not calling them out.
Thanks.
I just think we need to get real because there's too much dangerous conversation that's happening that nobody's really talking about. And people really aren't as outraged as they should be. There are certain content creators here on this construct that have been operating very openly, very publicly. And the truth is, most of their audiences are Black women. And a lot of these gay content creators or bisexual content creators, I mean, they're harmful. They spit harmful rhetoric. They push harmful ideas and promote them with an audience of women who not only encourage it, but parrot it, repeat it, and influence it. So, yeah, let's get to the tea.
Well, let me do this before we get to the tea,
Yeah,
because you about to get. I know you about to get into something serious, but I think it's good to just get into the lighthearted stuff first,
sure.
just to kind of warm it up. And yeah, what should we call it outside of tea? Because yeah, tea, I cringe every time I have to, you know, do this
No,
whole.
yeah, I think
I'll,
we just need
the
we need to
wrap
call
up
it
is
something
cool.
else. We need to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no. It's time to retire tea and give it back to the community that it belongs to, the trans, because that's what the tea is for. It's for the trans community. Let's give them back their word.
Let's do it. I'm
Let's
with it.
give them back their
I'm with
word.
it.
Like this tea stuff. Like no, because it's just it's the commingling, right? See, you start using jargon from a certain group of people and you start normalizing it, and then people start forgetting where things started from, how it happened, how it got there. Like I was just a couple months ago, there were some people that were trying to engage with us, and I guess they thought that they was trying to read me or whatever the case may be. And I literally had to remind adult grown Black women in their 40s that you're not gay, or at least you're not a gay man. So why are you talking like one? Like, I just think there's too much commingling at this point. And I think people are getting confused. That's like me running around and spitting, racist rants and jargon from racist white people, me using their slang, me using their words. That would look crazy, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would. Yeah.
Like when you start using certain colloquialisms and using certain jargon and catchphrases and stuff like that from a certain group, you're actually representing for that group. It's like code language for this crew or code language for that crew. It's the same thing, when it comes to gang culture, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Like Crips have their jargon, Bloods got
Hmm.
their jargon, right?
They have their tails. If they say
Exactly.
cousin, cousin
Their
is
handles.
Crips,
Yeah.
relatives is blood. Yeah.
So the thing is, are you going to hear Crips spitting blood jargon and Bloods spitting Crip jargon?
Not at all.
No. Matter of fact, if you have one of them spitting, the others, they get called out on that. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
that's like considered like an issue, right?
Oh yeah.
So then what's the difference with straight people or so-called straight people using gay terminology? That's a different gang. You're not in that gang. And if you represent in that gang, then we need to call you out for cosplaying. Because in my opinion, on social media, especially here in YouTube, we got a lot of straight, so-called straight black women cosplaying as gay men. Or am I being too provocative?
Not at all.
It's just too much. And as a bisexual woman, I'm calling all of you so-called straight women out. I'm calling you out. If you're running around talking like a gay man, because these communities, they're their own community. But see, what I've seen is that the culture is getting pushed over into certain communities, and it's being normalized and popularized, and now we have gay men running around talking about they feel sorry for PDFers. But before, go ahead, because you said we wanted to deal with lighter things. So let's deal with lighter things, and then we'll get into more heavy things. Because I'm a little angry. I'm a
I
little
know.
angry.
And you're on a roll. So, you're actually it would be good to just get off into that topic now. But in all honesty, take a breather. Take a
I
breather.
am, because
And
I'm about to hurt some people's feelings, and I know
I
it.
and,
And I
and
really
I'm
don't care who's mad.
I'm not mad at you if you do. Okay, first off, a couple of
And
things real
salute
quick.
to all of the members and salute to the moderators. I know we didn't do roll call today. Today ain't that day, but
We will though. We will. I guess we will, right?
we'll get there.
Did you see this? A different world is
It's
coming back.
coming back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a reboot.
Yeah. Um and the reason why I pulled this up because I don't know. I don't want to be I don't want to get I want to get your take because Brandy is singing the new intro, the theme song.
Mm-hmm.
Who sung it before?
I don't remember, but we can
She's
look it
right
up.
there. She's right there on the screen. Look at her. Aretha Franklin sung it, right?
Oh, well, no, she did. She didn't do the original.
No, she did the one after because the
She did
original.
when Debbie Allen started directing, she had Aretha come in and
Yeah,
do
that was the that was the
remake.
best one. But I think Don and them. Well, I don't know who did the first one, but yeah,
But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, Aretha, she did the re, the re boot
yeah.
or the
Don Lewis
remix.
did. Yeah, I think Don Lewis did do the first one. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's it. But we got Brandy doing the new and improved rendition. Do you want to hear it?
awesome. Sure, let's take a listen.
I mean, and shout out to Brandy. Everybody were dogging her out online, which is stupid, but
Well, let's
shout out to
hear it.
her. Let's
Let's
definitely
hear it.
hear it. Let's hear it. All right, here we go.
Different world than where you come from. Yes, it is love. Go again, Taro. It's a different world than where you come from.
That joint is what? What did he say?
I think the lady said that joint is out or fire. What she say? I forget. Hold on.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I definitely get that they're trying to make it now, current and relevant to today, and I think that that's a predictable. I wouldn't have went that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have went that way, just because of what a different world stood for, what it meant. Like it was honestly FBA. And it's funny because there's a lot of outrage around FBA,
Well,
but
we can
you
get into
know,
that, but go ahead.
um, a different world was a more FBA themed uh, program. It was
Yeah.
about foundational Black Americans. It was about culture, history, and fighting for the recognition and the upliftment of our identity, um, in the collegiate realms
Mhm.
of the United States or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. That sounds more like an intro for P Valley
Ooh,
than for
is it because of the
Hillman
production?
College.
Is
I
it
mean,
because of the
the production was cool. Honestly, I don't think it was all that hot. It
yeah?
sounds like everything else. Um,
When did R&B
yeah.
started using a whole
Mhm.
bunch of like trap subs? Because
I have no idea.
we
And
were
there was
listening
still a
to
lot of
some
auto
stuff.
tune on Brandy's voice, even with all those riffs.
Yeah, I
So it's
mean,
just, it sounds, yeah, like I see why people are clowning. Um, I get it. Yeah. I all I can say is I hope that the direction, and I hope that the script, and I hope that the acting is a lot better than that intro. Because if that intro matches like what the actual content for the show is gonna be, then I don't see it getting greenlit for a second season. Like it's not interesting. It's not. It's not interesting at all.
well, they would the industry and well, I'm not gonna hate on Brandy. There was a lot of auto tune that I can hear, and
There's a lot
shame
of
on
auto.
the shame on the music supervisor and the producers for that. Like, let if see, I'm one of these people. If you can sing, get in there and sing. Jag don't need no auto tune. I know a lot of current artists need it, and it's like pull that away. Maybe use Melodyne. That's different. Okay, all right,
That
but
Christopher Williams record,
well,
what
see,
was
I
it
was gonna,
called? Good
I
enough?
was gonna,
Oh my
I was gonna look.
god.
I was gonna get into that because that's where I wanted to go with this. Like R&B ain't R&B. It's like they're trying to like do this trap R&B, and I get it because I can listen to like
I don't.
no. Listen to where I'm coming from. I'm talking about how everything evolves. That's what I mean. Like I can get it, but I wouldn't all that sub stuff like using subs. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, usually R&B, rhythm and blues, bass line. You're using bass. You like not subs. Subs are it's like electro. A bass is something different, and you're gonna feel it. It's gonna resonate differently.
Mhm.
So that's part of the reason why I'm like, I mean, the song is cool. Brandy is cool, but it's like, get out. You right. It's kind of like, come on. They're trying to get the new sound, the new
It should
audience.
have been
I get it.
acoustic. It should have been acoustic. It should have been done with live
It could have been a
instrumentation. It should have been authentic. It
yeah.
should have spoken to the culture. That doesn't speak to the culture. It doesn't.
Well, it
Or
speaks to the
actually it speaks to a culture, but
yeah.
not not the culture that's supposed to be represented by this series, which is really about the culture of
Yep.
foundational Black Americans in education and higher learning.
This is going to speak to the H house culture. Y'all know the H, y'all know it, or the W out house culture. Y'all know the W I'm talking about. We keeping everything PG, but yeah, I wouldn't be
Mm.
surprised if Cardi B pops up in the series. It's not. I'm no, I'm dead ass. I wouldn't be surprised.
If that's what they got planned, I'll pass. She didn't even.
Yeah,
Did
man.
she? She. Mm, I don't.
It it. I
Mm.
mean, I'm sure everybody's gonna check it out.
Mm.
It drops September 24th, so we got a few more
Good for
weeks.
them. Good for
But
them.
let's see.
We
Let's
should
see.
do. We should do a watch party at Kick
We can do that. Let's do it.
and do a live reaction
Yeah,
to this first episode and see if it's worth watching.
I think that would be dope. Let's just schedule that. We so
I
y'all
mean,
know what it is.
I already don't want to like. I'm. Mm, yeah,
Let's
like I.
give it. You gotta
I
give it a
gotta feel.
chance.
I'm gonna watch the first episode. I'm gonna watch this pilot episode and see how it goes. But I'm telling you, I'm not looking forward to it because I just feel like they're
Well,
gonna shit all over it.
well, Jag, I may be able to even get a sneak preview. We might be able to see it sooner, but I'll get with you about that.
We'll
But yeah,
see. We'll
definitely
see.
do let's definitely do that. I think that's interesting. And I didn't want to come off because I didn't want to, like, see, the thing is
Mm,
when you get to speaking on different artists, they say you hating. And
of course
I'm
they do.
trying to, right. And
They
I'm
can say
trying to
I'm
just,
hating. I really don't care. I really don't care.
no, I
Call me a
know.
hater then. If having taste and having class and respecting true culture is hating, then call me a hater. Like for real. Like I'll embrace it. I'm the greatest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk, the way that you dress. I have to pull out a line from Kendrick. Like for real. Like, yeah, call me the biggest hater. Call me the biggest hater then. I don't care. I don't care what people think because the people that would be calling me a hater are the people that are pushing the bull. Anyone that calls me a hater has a hateful intention. They're projecting.
Yeah. And
It's
you
just as
you're not a hater, you are an observer and you are a critic, and there's nothing wrong with being critical of true music culture and true musicianship.
you
Ain't
got a
nothing wrong
bunch
with
of
that.
people that sit online that have actually no background, no knowledge, no training, or any skin in the game, giving what they're calling professional critique of music and culture and Black society. If
Yeah.
they can do it, then I'm if y'all can accept what they got to say, then
Hmm.
don't say shit about me because I actually am what most of these people pretend to be. I actually am. We gonna get there though. I'm a cause today is gonna be I'm holy fire coming out of my mouth today.
Well, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Uh
I guess here's another one that I wanted to speak
mm,
on regarding music. And we
mm,
will probably get into that FBA conversation because I got some stuff I want to say too. Uh, R&B. Speaking of R&B, they said Joe and Donnell Jones will be doing a
mhm.
versus.
That'll be a good one.
That actually is a good one because to be
That'll be a good
honest,
one.
both. Like you can't take number one, Donnell Jones, where I want to be. Come on, man. Ain't no man. What is Joe gonna top with that? I don't know. But Donnell Jones got a lot. Where I want to be. You know
But
what's up. I love
where
that. I love Donnell
wait a
Jones's
minute, wait a minute.
catalog.
Did you say what is Joe on top with that?
Well, no, I'm just saying Joe got hits. I'm not saying Joe don't got no hits.
They're both excellent writers. But as far as chart hits, Joe wins all day.
Ooh, you giving it to
And
Joe?
Joe, well, see, this is the thing. I know his body of work. I know all of the songs that he wrote for other artists that weren't even his, like that he
Now,
didn't keep himself. Joe sold a lot of records. So I'm assuming he'll be able to use any of his works. Like Joe, Joe got records.
no, I know Joe,
Got
but will
records.
Joe be able to put those records that he wrote for others into
I don't
this
see why I
verses?
don't see
Yeah,
why he shouldn't. I
I
don't see why
mean,
he
well, you
shouldn't be allowed to. I mean, I guess he can go with just his own personal catalog, but even with that, he's I don't know. I'm gonna say, and I love Donnell. I love Donnell, but Donnell doesn't have he doesn't have the catalog that Joe has. That I will
no,
say.
well, we'll see
But
because I mean,
Donnell does have like he
Donnell
has
got some
really
hits.
great heartfelt records. And it's funny because you said where I want to be. And guess what? That is an amazing record. Name another one.
And you know what's up with Left Eye? That was the shit.
That was
S-
a
s-
cameo. That
Spend the
wasn't
night.
a
Okay, well, that was still his joint though. He got Do You Wanna? He got Spend the Night. I think he got a Steve. I don't know if we ever use the Stevie Wonder cover. Knocks me off my feet. Remember that one?
I mean, yeah,
Uh,
it's a cover record. I guess it would count. That's what I'm saying. Like,
See, if we're
Joe,
gonna go
I
for
don't know.
who got the best voice, I'm giving it to Donnell. I mean, Joe. I'm not taking none away from Joe.
Donnell's voice is good. See, and this is the thing that I think we're all gonna love about this one. For those who watch, they're both monsters in their own right. But as somebody who was in the game, as somebody who was out there touring and working, and know their publishers, I know the labels that like all of that. Like I got a respect for Joe and Joe's voice. It's just very endearing. Very, but Donnell is Donnell, so this is a good one. This is a good one.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good one. We'll see how it play
You
out,
want to
but
know what I would like to see? I would like to see this versus justify a tour
there we go.
with the two of
Right.
them. That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be good. That would be really good. And Joe actually brings his kids out on stage with him now and has his kids singing. I think it's pretty awesome. It's
Nice.
pretty awesome. Like yeah, don't get me wrong. Donnell is Donnell, but Joe
Well, I
should
mean,
nobody on Joe.
I'm rooting for Donnell. We're gonna see how this play out. So I believe the
All right, you
verses.
got Donnell, I got Joe.
Well, let's put money on it. It takes place
I'll
next
bet
week.
you, but it won't be money. We can
It,
figure something else out.
yeah, I remember I bet it last time, and I still ain't got because I won.
Don't even
Goddamn.
play. Don't even
Anyway,
play. Don't even
um,
play.
the 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 verses. Well, I guess they said August 20th, so next week. So yeah, we'll see how they go.
Okay,
We'll see how they go.
we'll see.
Um, Another one, and we could speak on this
That's
real
actually
brief
the
because then,
news.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart, outside of the 72-hour movie, which we still didn't talk about, we could speak on it after this. But I guess there's a situation. It's actually kind of, well, I'm gonna say it's old news. It's still current. I didn't know this whole thing about the Heartbeat lawsuit. So there's a judge that's handling this case. The judge
Hmm.
keeps Kevin Hart's Heartbeat lawsuit against former podcast employees in court. So Kevin Hart, they say he lost his attempt to move the lawsuit against two former employees in a private arbitration,
Yeah.
leaving the case to the Los Angeles Superior Court. So the judge denied a motion to compel arbitration in its case against former podcast employees Eric Eddings and Leslie Guam.
Yeah. I can see why he would want that quiet.
They both signed agreements containing
Hmm.
arbitration provisions, but the court found they made a pervasive showing that the provisions were unconscionable and could
Hmm.
not be forced against them. So
Mm.
Heartbeat, the company, they filed this complaint February 27th, accusing the two of breach of contract, unfair business practice, misappropriation of trade secrets, breach of fiduciary duty, and unjust enrichment. Court record shows
Hmm.
Eddings joined Heartbeat in 2022, while Guam was hired in April 2023. The company alleges the pair had access to confidential financial data, partnership strategies, and business plans for its audio and podcast divisions, and used confidential information while developing a competing venture. Heartbeat also alleges they created and circulated an investor pitch deck seeking $2 million. The company said they both were fired at the end of January 2026 after it learned about the deck. They have disputed the claims in earlier filings. They said their pitch deck relied on standard industry information and their experience before joining Heartbeat. They acknowledged working on their company while still being employed, but they said they did not seek investors or develop show concepts at the time. Again, the case is pending, and we'll see how this play out. It's very interesting. Go ahead.
Well, the simple fact that Kevin Hart wants it quiet and wanted to snatch it out from the public eye to do all of this quietly already should let everybody know that there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to come out in this case that will probably be embarrassing for him,
Yeah,
because this is Mr. I'll sue you, I'll sue you, I'll sue you. I'll take you to court, I'll take you to court, and I'll win publicly. He likes to do that. So why would he want this quiet? Well, I can't wait to see how this is going to go. Matter of fact, I'm going to save some of my opinion regarding these matters until we learn more about what's happening with this court case.
definitely. Well, definitely
But
save that.
72 hours, though.
That's what I wanted to get. What's your take
We
on
can talk
72
about that.
hours? Go ahead.
It's bullshit. It's exactly what Cat Williams said about all of the movies he's made. It's bullshit. And it's a shame because there was some decent acting from those young men in that film. I think all of the young cast did a decent job.
Yeah,
Even
he
the
did.
black guy who was playing an idiot.
I mean, he
I
actually
think
was
he's
the
really
funniest
intelligent.
one.
I bet
He
he's
was
really intelligent in real life.
he's SNL, so he's funny. He's pretty funny. He's been on SNL, so
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, the script sucked. It was a terrible script. There was a lot of details in the writing of that film that made absolutely no sense. It was a little over the top at every turn. They played into every stereotype that you could possibly think of. And like shoving Cat Williams into that script, that was weird too. And I can see why a lot of people had the attitude or the opinion that they had about it. And for me, I'm going to say this regarding that appearance of Cat being in that film 72 hours. They've been coming after Cat for years, throwing case after case after case after case. At his age, I can see why he would be done with having to constantly be in court fighting. People don't even acknowledge the fact that even as of last late summer, early fall, he was in a whole nother court case where that had been dragging on for years, where he had been alleged um, to be involved in some predatory behavior with some young women, where
Hmm.
he was accused of things in the realm of SA. And he not only did he win the case, did they shut this suit down, but he was able to hold his opposers, or should I say his accusers, lawyers, liable and got sanctions because
Mm,
they used AI evidence
mm,
against him. Like, it's bad when people are that desperate to try to pin something on you that they use AI evidence. You want to know what? It's so funny because isn't that what happened with Trasha K in her Cardi B suit? Didn't her lawyer get ran down on, and part of the reason why he got hit with having to pay some of that fine back was because they were using AI evidence. They were using Chat GPT.
mm-hmm.
It's funny how all of that works in real time. People using fake evidence in real court in real time. Um, but yeah, in the midst of all of that going on, there was the whole situation with Reggie Morrow, who was who lost his life at a property that was a part of Cat's real estate portfolio in some way. He was renting that space for, I guess it was his brand, that he has for his merchandise. And Trinell Williams, who was a bodyguard for Cat at that time, was living there. Uh, Reggie was living there while they weren't touring because Cat was doing his comedy tour. And I mean, like everybody knows, it turned out bad, and everyone wanted to get online and they wanted to blame Cat for it, and they wanted to try to make Cat have something to do with it. And then all of that got quiet, and then the next thing you know, earlier this year, the bodyguard did an interview with Trash K and started saying that he was going after Cat Williams and he was suing Cat Williams. And then the next thing you know, that got quiet. And then a little while after that, here comes the roast, which was awful on so many levels that he participated in. And there was this come to Jesus moment between these two arch nemesis. And then the next thing you know, he pops up in this film in a scene that looked like they had probably already finished shooting the movie and then just forced this scene in. It didn't make any sense. It was absolutely stupid. And it looked about as crazy as the images of Cat fighting with that 15-year-old kid that they put out to humiliate him all of those years ago.
So it was a somewhat of a copy of the humiliation ritual,
Yeah,
if you
that's
really
what it
think
looked
about it.
like. That's what it looked like to me. And I don't know. All I'm going to say is I think people should look at the timeline. There might be something more to that Reggie Morrow case and everything that happened with Trinell that brought this kumbaya moment
Hmm. Hmm.
between so-called
Hmm.
Schluminati and anti-Schluminati together as brothers in comedy in a film that's just a goddamn wreck and not really that funny. And I'm not saying it, I'm not hating on it. It's just it doesn't make any sense. What I will say is this: watch that film and then watch Harlem Nights, or watch that film and then watch Life. Watch that film. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
like watch 72 hours and then watch a real film from real comedians, real writers, real talent, and ask yourself what you think of it. If it makes sense to you. It looked like a low budget, busted out, broke down version of what they want to be the next pseudo hangover franchise, and it's whack. It's whack. It's whack and it's corny and it didn't make any sense. Um, I mean, not even his face being stung by the jellyfish and him walking around with the oversized head. Spoiler alert. Uh, Not even that was funny. Him and Andy Garcia, spoiler alert, wasn't even funny. It was like they just tried to take a bunch of outrageous stuff that they got from a bunch of different movies and cram it all in together. And that's just not funny. Honestly, I feel like we got cheated. They should have had The Rock in there, to clown his little baby who he wants him to suckle his nipple.
Oh Lord.
Like we should have had the whole shit show in there, and it yeah. So yeah. I tell you what, I watched that 72 hours, and I wish I could get the 2 hours back of life that I wasted watching it. That's what I will say. So good luck on his lawsuit. You know what I mean? Hopefully, it won't turn out the way the end of his healthy fast food
Okay.
business turned
All that
out.
all that sodium that they were pumping anyway.
Hey, like whatever, his healthy Chick-fil-A, I don't know. I I'm just still trying to figure out why people are buying into a lot of the things that we buy into. But I mean, I don't buy into it, but I'm just saying, society as a whole just it sucks. Like cuz if you think about that roast, it was like that roast was like low key lightweight promo for this movie.
Oh yeah, of course. It makes sense.
And that makes it 10 times worse because it's a shitty film. And to disrespect, for there to be as much disrespect as there was to the African American community, and y'all did all of that to low key promote this piece of shit. Like it's just wild. Like it's wild to me. But hey, anything for the money, I guess. What else do we have here?
Yeah, you got Whitney Houston
Hmm.
and well, Pat Houston did an interview with AP, and
And salute to Whitney Houston because her birthday just passed. She would have been 63 years old.
yeah, her birthday just passed. She would have been 63,
Hmm.
and they are they're saying that there's going to be a new Whitney Barbie. Well, it already has been released. It's been released already this Sunday, last Sunday.
A Whitney
Um,
Houston Barbie doll?
yeah, Pat Houston said it was a special journey because Whitney and her had a conversation about Barbie more than 20 years ago. And to see this vision finally come to life decades later is both emotional and very much inspiring. You know,
Oh,
it
I'm sure it
serves
is for Pat.
as a beautiful reminder that some dreams take time. And when they're rooted in love and purpose, you can transcend generations. And that's what this Barbie is doing.
Really? That's
So,
what it's doing?
well, this is what she said. It's Mattel. They worked hand in hand with
I
Mattel.
wonder how much money the estate gets to claim off of
Well,
this
there
doll.
there we go. Well, Pat is the head of the Whitney Houston estate.
Yeah. Yeah, she is. What a deal. What a
Right.
deal.
It's funny you said estate because they asked her about Clive Davis and, and him dying in June, his legacy, and from what about Whitney's legacy and how did she view him? And Pat Houston said you can't mention Whitney Houston and not mention Clive Davis. And you can't mention Clive Davis without mentioning Whitney Houston. Every conversation that Clive has had in the music industry, he ultimately speaks about Whitney. He played a very, very important role in her life and it went beyond the music. They truly loved one another. He was a part of her and part of her
Can you
legacy.
stop? Can you stop? Can you stop?
I sure can.
Because Pat is full of shit. And they did not truly love each other, especially not at the end. Whatever love that they had long since been lost. And it's really wild. It goes to show you the capitulation and the surrender that people give to these false narratives and these fake stories. Clive made Whitney's the last 10 years of her life a living hell. So the way he exploited her, so I mean, hey, they got a Whitney Houston Barbie doll, and the estate gets to make more money. And who's it going to benefit? Because Whitney's truest heir is deceased and Sissy is gone. So who's really benefiting from any of these monies? I mean, Clive already got he got his pound of flesh, and now he's gone, and his children get to inherit what he made off of Whitney's back. And I don't know. I guess Pat gets to benefit.
Hmm.
I mean, yay, a Whitney Houston Barbie doll. I don't. I mean, I guess it's cool.
Well,
Mattel,
it just shows me, even in death, they're
they gonna make as much money off of her. They gonna rob her blind. This is no different than 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 Puffy doing a Biggie hologram
oh God.
to bolster his catalog to make more money. Like it's just yeah. And as much as I would like to see it as a historical achievement, it's not. It's not. It's crap. In my opinion, it's just like I until society starts to accept the fact that death means profit. Death incurs more profit. Life, they make money off of you while you're alive, and they squeeze you, and then you die, and then they make all the money that they can off of you by guilt tripping the world into, oh, Whitney. Whitney gone. No children, no grandchildren. Anything that's directly attached to her, it this is all going to go to other people. Like I wish people would think about that. Like really think about that. Like it's hard because people are so sentimental, and there are going to be people that are going to love buying this Whitney Barbie doll for the little girls in their family and tell the stories of how great she was, and how awesome she was, and probably pull up footage of her at the Super Bowl and that awesome performance of the Star Spangled Banner, and you know skip over all of the terrible things that happened and everything that she went through and what her life was really like in the industry, and just yeah, yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be this wonderful thing, and it's like I don't think people realize that you're just helping enrich the people that took advantage of her. So
Yeah,
hey, yeah, rock on. Whitney Barbie, fantastic. You want to know what's funny? That image of her as a Barbie doll, she grew to hate it. Me thinking about a Whitney Barbie doll makes me instantly go back and think about that moment when she was at the Soul Train Awards and they booed her. Her own people booed her for being too pop, for being too Caucasian representing.
yeah,
Like that's what that Barbie doll, that like the a Barbie doll, like that's the first thing that comes to my mind. The very image that she grew to hate is now going to be immortalized. So I yeah, I mean congratulations to the estate. Can't say congratulations to Whitney. Congratulations to the estate. Mm, fantastic. And happy birthday, Nippy. I
two
hope you
things.
haunt all these people in their dreams and give them hell.
Yeah, I hope so, and I hope she's kicking Clive Davis in his ass.
Yeah.
So, Jag, I can get into the breaking news, or I can just, get into this one little other story, and then we can get on with the how you want to
Well,
do it. Because
before
basically,
before we move on, I just want to acknowledge the jewels and the gifts that we've been receiving so far.
yes,
I want to
yes.
say thank you, Alia. Appreciate the jewels. Geneva, thank you. Appreciate that. Uh, Her and Kitty, appreciate you. Thank you so much. We got Honey. Thank you, Doll.
Mhm.
Thank you for that. Oh, the one and only King, appreciate you, love. Mayat coming through with the super chat. It was the first super chat of the day.
Mhm.
Thank you, super couple. Thanks for motivating us in this teal version of Black Exodus. We appreciate you.
That's what's up.
And Maya sent some jewels. Appreciate you. Honeybee again. Maya sent some more jewels. Janae Lackey, appreciate you. Thank you so much. Maya, listen to me, honey.
What
We love you.
happened with it?
Love you, dear.
We got much love and respect.
Oh, thank you so much, Carla. Appreciate you. Maya be dropping them jewels. Appreciate you, love. Thank you
Another
so much.
one. Appreciate you.
Alia, appreciate you as well. And Shannon, thank you. Thank you guys. Oh, we've been here for an hour, so I just wanted to
Yeah,
acknowledge that before we move forward.
yeah. You got it warmed up, and I want to ask y'all this: the audience. We got over 300 people in here, and
And
y'all hear this
Mandita.
song?
Mandita
Oh,
just popped.
Mandita, thank you, Mandita, thank you, and yeah, thank everyone for whatever you give, donation, jewels. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Y'all hear this song in the backdrop, right? You know, this is her intro. You know, she comes in on this song. How many of y'all, if she dropped this song, let's just say tonight, would y'all download it? Put a one in the chat, because I'm telling Jag, she needs to really, she needs to give them something. And we don't have to give this to the traditional DSPs. We can give it directly to the people. I think this will be dope because the song is dope as hell. People love the beat. Everyone always complain. I'm not complains. They compliment like, "Oh, that beat is fire. It's whoop whoop." See, people will buy it. I'm telling you. So just be on the lookout because she already had a song. This song has been done. It's just, yeah, yeah. I told you, Jag. The people support. Trust me.
Well, I appreciate it. I know a lot of people. Oh, Maria B, thank you. I know a lot of people. They don't know how to see me or how to take me anymore. I guess I don't know. Because I am an artist. Whether I'm putting out music or not, I am an artist. I have the background and the resume and the discography to prove it. Um, it's so funny. I went and I looked at my Wikipedia to see how it had been hacked and to look at all the lies that were on there. And in all honesty, I'm thinking about just, I don't know, maybe campaigning to have the whole thing shut down.
Well, you know, you can actually have people because the trolls. Wikipedia is like anybody can edit it. So you got a
Oh,
bunch
I
of
know.
trolls who have
A
went in
bunch of
there and
trolls
did a whole
that
bunch of
went
yeah.
and did a whole bunch of F stuff and acting a fool. And it's like, but it looks like even my discography was edited because I remember things that used to be on there that aren't on there anymore. So it just
They were able to just
had me tripping because it made me start thinking about Kim Porter.
okay.
And right around the time that they were starting that whole hoopla about her book
Yeah.
to discredit whatever might have made it to the public, they took down her Wikipedia. Remember they went after
Mm,
so
yeah.
that it goes to show you how people operate um in these online spaces. And what I want people to realize is when people start attacking your history and when people start attacking record of your history, that's being done for a reason.
Yeah.
It's being done because they want to cover up facts or a truth to create or to support a new narrative that's different from reality. So it's, yeah, I don't know. And it's so funny because the truth is I didn't even know I had a Wikipedia. It was supporters of mine that told me about it. I never paid attention to this online stuff. I lived my life. I did my thing. I did my work. And it was funny because up until 4 years ago, it was pretty accurate because it was all done by people who have been watching me, following me, supporting me. Um, but I'm just looking, at how people are. Wait a minute, you have my Pandora station. I know, I have one of those, and it's it's just funny to me. It's super funny to me, but people be pressed to try to destroy somebody's character or rebuild it. So yeah, it is what it is. But all right, yeah. I mean, we got the studio, we got the mics.
I'm saying, give them a little something.
Yeah, maybe
Think
it's
it's
time.
time. Think it's time.
Ooh, you ain't lying, Judah. Judah says, that's real. Technology and the net have killed genuine feelings and experiences. I know, I know. But let's not give them the credit for saying that they have completely destroyed. What they have done is altered. They may have altered the space, but they can't get rid of it. They can't make it go away. What's real for you is real for you. When I'm looking back now, in 3 years, it'll be 30 years since I made my national big splash as an independent or as a solo artist, even while I was working with the Roots. And, it's 30 years that went so fast. And then we were in the car and we were listening to, a, and I guess a Gen X friendly soul radio station. And I'm just listening to music and listening to what it is and how it's being, I guess, curated now. And I'm like, ooh, some of it is favorable. And I'm not going to say a bunch of names, but I was listening to some people who I came up with and listening to their new records. And I was just thinking to myself, like, how am I really feeling about this? Like, how do I really like it? And it got me to thinking, like, if I were to put something together now, like, how would people receive me? And then it really just got me to thinking about myself as an artist. Like, what else do I have to give? And I think the answer for me is a lot. Like, I've been through a lot in these past 8 years of my life. So what I got to give. And it's just like, I'm an orator, I'm a commentator now for the most part. I'm a content creator. But I'm still an artist. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing a 30th anniversary. Well, I'm thinking about that because I kind of just skipped right over like my 25th anniversary of my first album. That came and went. And there was a bunch of chaos going on in the midst of all of that. So yeah, 30th anniversary. Yeah, that could be something. That could be something. That could be something. So we'll see. Well, actually, technically, my 25th anniversary for my first album would be next year. Technically, that would be my 25th anniversary for my first album because that was released January 29th, 2002.
Yeah,
Denials,
yeah,
Delusions, and Decisions. So I don't know. Maybe that's something to focus on. We'll see. But I know one thing. If people really, really, really want me back in the studio, if you really want me doing stuff, then you'll donate because I'm a self-funded organization. I don't have companies that I can go to or that I would go to fund my projects. It has to be crowdsourced. It has to be crowdfunded. So donate to cruelty-free artistry. That's what I will say. I don't know. Maybe we need to come up with a new campaign. Maybe we need to come up with a new campaign. Maybe we need to figure out how to work that out because me releasing a project without releasing any visuals is kind of crazy, especially now.
No, of
Like
course.
this stuff
No,
costs money.
I wouldn't
It all,
say. I wouldn't say just do the song. Of course, yeah. Do a visual, all that shit. Yeah, we don't do it all. Yeah.
well, I'm not singing anything right now. This is a commentary day.
Yeah. Come on, people. Tell me, can you sing something right now?
What I can do is I can play you something before we close out today. I can go in here and I can
hmm
play a record that we have in our archives of me. That I can do. And for those of you who would really like to hear that, super chat it up, cash app it up. Like, don't be afraid to support. Don't be. There's so many people, you know what I'm saying? Like, that people support who absolutely have no talent.
None at all.
But sit on here and lie all day and act a fool all day and sound a mess all day. Like, yeah, no. We please support. I promise you, it helps. So anyway, back to you would buy without a video. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Sounds good to me. Who knows? Maybe if we sell enough, that'll be enough money to go into production to do a video. I don't know. We have to figure it out. But all right, let's get back to why we're here. Is there
You want to?
anything else
Well, it's
on the
up to you if
docket
you want.
before we move forward?
You, it's up to you if you want to, because I got some breaking news, and then I got just one other little story that'll tie into the whole tether of it all. Remember, we were talking about that.
Hmm.
So whichever one you want to go with.
Well, what's
Uh,
this breaking news that you want to talk about?
Jonathan Hay just sent me this.
Oh, Jonathan.
The NYPD legendary hip hop cop Derek Parker, who investigated rap's biggest stars and murder, dead at 65.
Yeah, he died a little bit ago. It's been a few days. I remember I first heard about it.
It was
I
on the
didn't know
8th.
what we were talking about.
That I thought he. Well, it's funny that this whole thing with Puffy's or Keefy D's case
I know.
is going on, and then so when did he pass? Because I could have swore.
I heard about this last week.
Oh wow. Oh, you're right. This happened late July. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, like I heard about it like a bit ago. Like this isn't new news.
Well,
Um, for those of you guys who don't know, this was a guy who was known as the hip hop cop in New York. He was the detective, I believe, that was working the Club New York um, incident that injured Natanya Rubin. He was also known as the guy who was allegedly, kind of like working on behalf of Puffy, slipping him phones while he was in lockup the night that they were arrested for that. Uh, yeah, this is the guy.
do you think?
Natanya actually told a couple of stories about. what she remembered of him, especially around the time of the trial.
Do you think
So,
that this
mhm.
will affect, or well, we don't know if he would have been, what's the word, a witness on the Keefe D trial, but do you think that
I don't think so.
you don't think this will affect this trial?
I don't think it'll affect the trial at all. I don't think any of that. Yeah, nah. I mean, the truth is there's absolutely nothing there for him. Like, I don't believe there was anything centered around. Yeah, nah, not him. Not unless he had something to do with those cars that were rented that were sent across the country,
Yeah,
that came from New York that went to Vegas that nobody's talking about during Keefe D's trial.
right.
Yeah. Uh, I don't. Yeah, no. He would have known a lot. He would have definitely known a lot about what happened at Quad Studios. Like, he was at the parties, he was around, he was the guy that was getting intel when everything that was happening on the rap scene in New York. So yeah, but he's gone now. So
Yeah, thanks for reminding me because I thought this was, I was like, oh, and I was just looking it up like, I think this is, yeah, this is really nothing. It's, I ain't gonna say it was nothing.
well, no,
I'm
I mean,
looking at,
he's a significant, figure in the rap scene,
yeah,
especially from the late 80s into the 90s and all the way up until he was just, I guess private security or whatever the case may be. I'm not sure. I mean, like, he didn't go the route that Gene Deal went.
no,
He didn't go full on media because the truth is, his stories, he could have told some stories, but then again, he probably wouldn't have told the truth.
oh no,
In my opinion, he was a fixer, and the only thing that he could have done was so propaganda to turn people away from what was actually going on. You know, I question anybody who has a background in law enforcement that was involved in hip hop. I tend to. The only person that I can honestly say that I haven't publicly questioned at any point or time has been Gene Deal. And part of the reason why I can honestly say that was because, you know, he did look out as best as he could for some people. And even when I first started speaking out and people started, linking us up, he was decent and he spoke kindly of me. And, he always talks about the story about when, remembering me from back in the day. And, Gene, he has his stories that he tells. But I think a lot of people forget exactly how heavily embedded in law enforcement he is. He wasn't just some hip hop bodyguard. He was a probation. Well, he didn't work in probation, but he worked in corrections. So he worked precinct. He worked investigations. He's very um, fluent in how things go. And his adjacency to hip hop, it it's interesting. And his relationship with Reggie Wright, also interesting. Um, but Reggie, he's gone full social media too. Uh, so it's like Reggie, I just downright don't trust. And nobody should, in my opinion. That's why I'm curious to see exactly how he's going to behave during this Keefe D trial. Because the truth is, he's being real cocky.
Hmm.
And his cockiness is kind of like giving me a roadmap to what's actually going to happen with this trial. Because law enforcement should be shaking in their boots about this trial. They should be. But so yeah. Um Actually, someone is talking about Jags Bread 2. Jags Bread 2 is no longer a Cash App to be associated with me. My Cash App is right there, Cruelty Free Artistry. One Y. That is for it goes straight to our nonprofit to help um, raise funds as we build our organization. And our projects are funded by anything that comes through this nonprofit. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna start working on some stuff. I had reached out to some people that might have some ties to the D4DV, like personally. These artists, these are artists, and I think it might be dope to do some type of something surrounding that because we're getting into the investigative journalism side as well, and
Mm-hmm.
that intersects with that and music because D4DV was a musician. But yeah, we'll see. We'll get into it. Definitely at dollar sign cruelty free artistry is where you want to donate. Now,
Yes. Archangel Michael had something very interesting to say. He said, "Salute to our moderators, Archangel Michael and Auntie Leah, been in the building." He says, "Unless they're retired, police have an excellent way to distance themselves from blame." That is true, and even in their retirement to a certain extent.
the thing
So what's
is
here?
a lot of cops are. Well, we'll get into that. I'll get into that on the kick or the Patreon. Also, don't forget Jaguar Wright, kick.com/Jaguar Wright. We'll be
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot more music stuff over there as well. And I'm going to get into a few more things in regards to where we're taking the Patreon as well. That I think that'll just be like almost like the behind the scenes, the music stuff. Because we're about to get some music stuff going. Y'all be on the lookout. A lot of good things are going to start coming out musically with Jag. Not necessarily a tour, but hey, you never know. But speaking of tours, I pulled them up because I guess DJ Spinderella was talking about where she stood or where she stands with Salt and Pepper. They're doing a reunion tour. I didn't even know that, but
Mm-hmm.
Salt and Pepper's doing a reunion tour. We'll see how this plays out because a lot of tours, a lot of shows, music
They're
shows
not making any money. People are
they've
not
been
buying
getting canceled.
tickets.
Yeah, they're not buying tickets. They've been getting canceled. And yeah, I think the first time I've seen like, well, no, I've seen like artists really perform in front of me, but in a live studio audience setting, I remember Robert Townsend. He had the Robert Townsend show. My brother
Mm-hmm.
performed on there, and that same night, Salt and Pepper they did Shoop and all that other
Mm-hmm.
stuff at the time. And I'm not. I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna keep my reservation of what I thought of that performance, but nonetheless,
Well,
um,
anyway, what's the news?
this is Spinderella saying, I guess it's a sisterhood. And I remember they were like kind of cutting her out of the whole Salt and Pepper
You know, I
tour
know deep.
reunion. Or I know you know. Yeah. That's why I wanted to get you. You talking about Pepper, right? Sandra
No,
Denton. Oh, you talking about Salt?
No.
Spinderella. That's her name, Dee Dee?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought her name was Cheryl. Oh no, Salt is
Salt's
Cheryl.
name is Cheryl.
I'm tripping. They received. Well, I thought they were getting like a Walk of Fame. I don't know.
They did
It's a
get a
whole
star on the Hollywood Walk of
yeah.
Fame.
And then
Yeah,
Spinderella
like I
wasn't
think
even like
right.
included.
Hmm. Well, they were trying to keep her out, but they actually included her. It was a nasty fight.
I think that's messed up, man. Spinderella was like, of course,
What?
salt and pepper,
So
but
can
you
we
can't.
get to what you wanted to talk about?
Well, I didn't. I just brought them up just because it's good that they are back on good terms. Because I thought it was crazy that you know I'm like, wait, what? They're going on tour, but they're on good
They
terms. I
have a
heard.
business arrangement that is working out better for them because the fans came forward and was like, "Y'all can't be treating her like crap." I was there. I watched what they did before I left Dallas, seeing how they were treating her, and I minded my business to a certain extent because I didn't want to bring any heat to the situation, and they were heavily negotiating. But Dee Dee's a wonderful. She's a wonderful woman, and her and her fiance Q, because Q is a comedian on the Dallas comedy scene. So they got married not long ago. Approaching, I guess they're working their way towards 5 years now, and she
Nice,
had just had a
congrats.
grandbaby and all of that.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean it's. I'm hoping that they show her appreciation because she's a good girl. She also has ties to Philadelphia, strong ties to Philadelphia. She has a lot of family there.
Nice.
So yeah, like Dee Dee she's really wonderful. And I thought you were gonna tell me something new. That's why I'm like, what are you talking about? That was a long time ago. Yeah, like they made their way around whatever
Okay.
was going
Well,
on. I mean, the truth is it was making Salt and Pep look crazy.
yeah.
It was making them look crazy. Their their obstinance towards her, and it was more Salt than anything because Salt was still on some bullshit about how Dee Dee came into the crew, and when she came into the crew, she was 16 years old. She was
Yeah.
brought by her blood bug, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't know the actual history because Spinderella wasn't the first Spinderella. There was a Spinderella before Dee Dee came. So
Mm.
you didn't know that? She was
No,
not
I
the
didn't.
first Spinderella.
I kind of heard some whispers of it because I do remember.
And the first Spinderella and Salt had issues behind Herbie Lovebug.
There you go. I heard. That's what I heard. I heard something. Yeah.
So
Because
yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah. But I didn't know that, and I also didn't know Peppa was Jamaican. And
yeah,
when you go down the rabbit hole, I didn't realize how many artists are not like Black
African
American. Like
American, yeah,
now,
Jamaican,
let me not get into the
African.
yeah. Let me not get into the delineation of the. But I mean, that's been a hot topic because people are going in on Flacco. Number one, who would have thought this fat fuck was 20 years old? He's not a YN. He's an old tether. He an old ass tether ball. Them old tether balls that you used to hit, and they had all that fur and shit.
Well,
Like,
I thought it was interesting that he's so quick to claim North Dakota, but not quick to tell people that he actually grew up right outside of Philadelphia city line,
yeah,
Darby. And Darby is like West Philly, Southwest Philly area. So he would have grown up just a couple of minutes away from 69th Street, where the movie theater was, where the mall was, where the L stop is. That's one of the biggest L stops at the end of the line, 69th Street. The Tower Theater is there. You would think that someone who grew up in Philadelphia would speak more about it, but he keeps talking about this whole North Dakota thing, which he didn't get there until after he graduated high school. So yeah, like people who tend to hide who they are and where they come from, they tend to do it for a reason. And I just want to say, if there's anybody from Philadelphia who knows Frederick Jalla, please reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you. I want to know more about who he was before he made it to where he made it to, before he made
Yeah,
it all the way to the internet.
yeah. There's talks of his family being
Well,
was
yeah, I
dad
saw the
owned.
video. I
Yeah,
saw a video from his alleged cousin who showed ID that said Jala on it. I'm assuming that Jala is a pretty common or could be a common Liberian name. But some of the stuff that he was saying does make sense because Africans in the Philadelphia area, they all like live same neighborhoods within
yeah.
doors, within blocks of each other. Like they all group up in certain areas because they're not going to be able to just. Philly is weird like that. Philly is a very cliquish town.
But it
So
makes sense. No, it makes sense. Even in like LA, you got
yeah,
Africans because there's a group of Africans that are in Hawthorne, and
yeah,
they will go to Dot Moy to get their food. And if you don't know where Dot Moy is, it's basically like a Vietnamese place, but they have a bunch, like they have African restaurants across the street. They have little African stores. You when you move to the United States, you're not moving here. Most people are not moving here, and they're just all in their own, and they're just going to be able to assimilate. They don't go to Kroger's or Sprouts because they
no,
have different culture, they have
they
different
build
food.
they build their communities.
Yeah,
And usually it'll be two or three families that show up, and then their relatives start showing up, and their relatives start showing up, and they start. I mean, but Asians did the same thing.
yeah,
Koreatowns
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, like it's a huge, huge Asian community, Korean, Vietnamese in Southwest Philadelphia, and they all owned stores, and they all had
Exactly,
Chinese food stores and
exactly.
stuff like that. So they
They
do
get
the same thing there in Chester, PA. Exactly. So it's
yeah,
like,
they get their weight up. They'll one. It won't be just two families in two separate houses. Sometimes it's four families in one house. They save their money. They get the next house.
they get
That's
the next
how.
house. Hmm.
That's how Temple City. When you talk about Asians, Temple
Hmm.
City wasn't. I mean, if you've been in the area, you've been like Arcadia, like in that area, right? Temple City wasn't like it was pretty much white, and then all of a sudden overnight it became Asian because they did exactly that. It would be a few Asian families buying houses, and then they just brought over and
Well, they
it
do it
happened like
smart.
overnight.
They do it smart.
Yeah, it's called group
They
economic.
piggyback, and they piggyback each other, and they
Yeah,
build up and they build up and they piggyback each other. And it's so funny because if black families had decided to do that in the 80s in the hood, like four families decide to leave the projects, get a large scale home, share their home together, create a business, build up the money, be able to get some of that tax relief as business owners, and then boom, start next one, buy a house. And that's how you buy up neighborhoods. That's how
yeah,
you create real leverage where you live, in the city that you live in, the area that you live in. That's how you get that kind of leverage to be able to make politicians pay attention to your community, things of that nature. But no, we don't do that. So it's really interesting. Like even Indians, they'll move
yeah,
into a suburb, there'll be six families deep in a four-bedroom home with a basement.
yep,
And People will be going to college, going to medical school, going to law school, having a little store, shipping things in from back home, selling things, and then somebody becomes a doctor. They finally make it, and then they get a larger house. They might get a mansion, and now you take those half of those families and they move into the mansion, and then the rest of the people stay there in that large house, and they bring more people from overseas. Like, everybody does this except for us, and I think it's because of just the cutoff nature that we have with one another, and I have to attribute a lot of that to slavery.
Well, don't contribute it to slavery. You got to also look at, you can contribute to slavery. I'm just saying, look at the bigger scheme of things. Someone was just talking about um, Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Tulsa riots. The reason
Hmm.
why the Gap Band made that song, "You Dropped a Bomb on Me," they were not talking about a relationship. They were talking about the relationship that the United States had on
Now, who told
Black
you that?
Americans. No, 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 hold on. Let me finish,
Okay.
because I'm gonna give you some game real quick. Charlie Wilson, the Gap Band stands for what? Greenwood, Archer, and Pine. That's the area in Tulsa, Oklahoma, correct?
Okay.
And that song, I always love that song. Just reminds me of my brother. It reminds me of a lot of just good times, right? And getting older, I forget who I may have heard it from some of the OGs who do music. I may have heard it from back in the day, the Tariq Nasheed times. May have heard it from Siddiqui. I don't remember exactly, but I remember hearing at least a piece of that information. The Gap Band grew up Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they
Hmm.
were they were creating that song, "You Dropped the Bomb on Me," because that was the first time during the Tulsa riots when the U.S. dropped a bomb on a civilian. They dropped it on the residents of Tulsa, Oklahoma. You got to look that up.
No, I listen to me. For those who don't know, that is a real occurrence. That actually did happen. And a lot of people, I think, they tend to forget the history that every time a black community started to find real prosperity and do well, these things would happen.
Yeah, they
Know,
even did it. They see. That's why I
they did
say
it a lot. They did it a lot in the South.
it's a
Anytime,
systematic it's a
go ahead.
systematic thing, because you were saying slavery and you're like putting it all on that, and I said no, it's a systematic thing where
Well, I'm
that's
not
just
putting
one
it all
example.
on slavery.
No,
I'm
no, okay,
talking
we didn't put
about
it
the
all on
effects
slavery. You're talking
of
about the
slavery.
effects of
I
slavery,
really
but
didn't get a chance to explain what I was saying, but go ahead.
what well you, go ahead and explain what you're
No,
saying,
I'm past it now.
because
Where you are is where we need to be. We'll leave it at that.
no, it's a whole lot of other contributing factors. I would have went to Tulsa first
I
before
hear what you're
slavery. That's
saying.
just me. And
Before
then
Tulsa, before Tulsa,
no, 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 I
there
got you.
was
Listen, I got you. Even freaking integration. They didn't want integration because, oh, we want y'all to be equal. No, it was about money. We were doing so well circulating our own dollars within our own
yeah.
community. The whole integration thing was a trick. I was about to just go there with the whole thing because
Yeah, but see, I was talking about mindset. I wasn't just talking about the socio-economical side. I was talking about the psychological side. And all of that started in slavery, teaching us not to trust one another, teaching us not to build together, dividing and conquering. There was a disconnect in our people, and even those of us who work with our people, like those who left slavery and bought their towns, built their towns, did all of that. There was usually one person in the community that created some kind of ripple effect that allowed them to come in and do what they did. Like, there's we have serious psychological things that we need to deal with as a people. And all of it started in slavery. And that's my point.
Gotcha.
It's not just about the economics. We can talk about economics all day long. If we really had it together, tell me something. When these things happened, why didn't our people come right back together and say, we're going to build it all over again? We're going to
And
build
that
it better. We're going to build it smarter. We gave up.
and that's what I was gonna get into as far as
There's a
the
giving up factor that happens in our people. And that is the psychological damage and the trauma from slavery, in my opinion.
I got you. I'll disagree on the giving up factor because we do have people who you can't just like you just mentioned about like them not being able to erase your history, them being able to truly erase your Wikipedia or whatever. You cannot erase
Segregation, in my
and
opinion, was giving up. How about that?
you can't erase ancestral memory. How about that? That's where I was going
No,
with it.
I hear
So
you. I
our people still are communal and are still our people understand what time it is and will get together and do what they need to do. It happens and it's not on bigger scales, but it does happen to where group economics is a thing and our people figure it out. You know what I'm saying in regards to,
If our
you
people
know,
had our shit together, we would have gate kept the fuck out of hip hop.
well I'm glad you said that because you realize a lot of these people are not even black Americans. Like I could go back to the Slick Ricks and the Moni Loves. They were British. They were not
British Jamaican.
they're British Jamaican. They were not Americans, but they were the like, oh, okay, we'll give them a pass. But now when you look at hip hop, you're right. We should have gate kept it like we should have, but we technically didn't own it. We have the influence and we create it, but we didn't own it. It's still a Jewish ran, CIA ran operation. Take for instance, I'm looking
It
at
was
all these
definitely
artists.
co-opted.
Cardi B being Dominican and what is she, Trinidadian or something, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
I didn't know Foxy Brown was
Haitian.
Chinese Trinidadian, and it says Douglas. What is a Douglas? Well, I heard Douglas from Trinidad, so but maybe it's
She's part
it's
Haitian as
Haitian.
well.
Okay, yeah, Haitian, Chinese, Trinidadian. Interesting. Um, of course, Kodak Black being a Haitian, Nicki Minaj being Trinidadian, YFN Lucci is Jamaican, Shabuzi is Nigerian, The Weeknd he's Ethiopian, Canadian Ethiopian. Who was it? Bia, she's Puerto Rican and Italian. Tinashe is she's not black. I thought she was black, but she's not. Sauce Walker's freaking Honduran. Uh,
Hmm.
Vince Mensa. Remember the guy? He was just you know
Hmm.
uh, running around here dressing up like a woman, or they had pictures of him. He's
Yeah.
Ghanaian and he's biracial. Doja Cat, South African. Jenna's Nigerian. Wale is Nigerian. French Montana, Moroccan,
Yep.
and Max B, Haitian. Uh, Jason Derulo is Haitian. I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I knew Tiger was like Jamaican and Vietnamese.
Hmm.
OT Genesis, I knew he's a Griffiner, Belizean. Shine is Belizean. Joey Badass is St. Lucian and Jamaican. Busta Rhymes, Jamaican. Chameleonaire, Nigerian.
Nipsey's father, Nipsey Hussle, his father
Nipsey's
was
father is Eritrean.
Eritrean. His mother was from here.
Heavy D, Jamaican. Um,
Biggie, Jamaican.
Biggie, Jamaican. Olivia, Jamaican and Cuban. Pop Smoke, Jamaican and Panamanian. Luke is Jamaican and Bahamian.
Uncle
Davies.
Luke. Yo,
See,
Uncle Luke.
I didn't know that. See, it's so many. It's so much that, like when you said gatekeeping, I said bingo. Hip hop is $1 trillion industry. It's a trillionaire operation,
Sure is.
and we don't get the benefit. We don't reap the benefits of it. We never did, to be honest. we
Well,
we set it up, and then we let these infiltrators come in. And most of these artists they're legacy artists, and they're today artists, they're eating when you can't even, like, they really just blocked you out the game, which is sad. But go ahead.
block two out the game. Me?
Out the industry side of it, how they tried to.
Well,
I'm just
they didn't
saying, like,
block me out of anything. I walked away.
but listen to where I'm coming from. You are the last of a dying breed, a real artist who
Yeah.
can really sing. You have roots with real legacy artists that go,
Yeah.
Teddy Pendergrass. Like you're not like these people that I just mentioned. They have no time. You're still a branch connected to the real root of soul music, of real,
Hmm.
and that's what I mean. Like, they didn't want you to flourish because of what you could have done. You mentioned it before. You said these new R&B, we don't have another Luther. We don't have a Teddy Pendergrass. We don't have a
When
Barry White.
when I listen to the radio when we're in the car just doing whatever, we don't have the same kind of artists for our generation. We got Tank. No disrespect. We got Tyrese. We got Raheem Devon. We got, you know what I mean? We got Mario now. We got Usher. We got, and as much as I love Chris Brown as a performer, he's not one of the most prolific male vocalists. And he is a pop career. So we don't have any Luthers. Not really. I think the closest thing that we could even, they would say a Jaheim. But
Okay.
Jaheim ain't a Luther. Because where is Jaheim's real representation now? You see what I'm saying? Like, and his career was cut on so many different levels. That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't have a lot of ugh, like, oh man, we don't have a Frankie Beverly from our generation. We don't. Who from our generation translates to a Frankie Beverly in
No
proximity
one.
at all?
No one.
Who right now in our generation gives us proximity to a Barry White?
None. Just Black Diamond. He looked like young Barry White. That's
Nope.
about it.
Nope. Not even Ruben Studdard. Not even Ruben Studdard. Ruben Studdard, his career next to a Luther, you can't even compare the two. And definitely not next to a Barry White. Barry White was a conductor. Like, a lot of people only know Barry White to be a vocalist. Barry White was an orchestra conductor. Barry White was a writer, a producer. You can't give that to Ruben Studdard. Not in any way, shape, or form. Not at all. I mean, Keith Sweat. Keith Sweat, and it's tricky when it comes to Keith Sweat because Keith Sweat is definitely a part of R&B legacy. But could I compare Keith Sweat to a Bobby Womack?
Who's the guy that sings Just a Touch? Just a touch. From Cool and the Gang, right?
And as crazy as it sounds, let's be honest, and I just said this, most of these dudes can't even touch Robert Kelly.
No, you're right.
They can't touch him. And it's sad. It's sad because if his proclivities and his fetishes and his crimes weren't so terrible, he would be one of our most beloved of all time. He would be the closest we have in proximity to what came before. Ugh. See, and that's the thing. Tevin Campbell could have been if they hadn't destroyed him. He doesn't have the catalog or the presence. Like they just started destroying artists who had the ability to become the next generation of these groundbreaking legacy artists that we have. Like it's a shit show. It's a mess. We got Prince, we got Michael, they're passed away. Like but that still even leads more to the pop side. Soul as a whole has pretty much been diluted and broken down like an old Chevy and sold off for parts. The truth is I was sitting somewhere and they were playing a bunch of K-pop in the background. And the K-pop music that I hear is more indigenous and authentic than the so-called black artists who are making soul music right now and R&B right now. K-pop. They took us and they sold it off. There's plenty of great soul. I'm hearing great soul tracks, great R&B tracks. K-pop. Babyface, that's the tricky thing with Babyface. Because Babyface as an artist is one thing. Babyface as a writer, arranger, and producer is something else. But not even his presence is really felt like that. Because the truth is, Babyface would probably be the closest thing we have to a Quincy Jones. But not nearly the gravitas. Or am I wrong about that?
No, you're right. Quincy Jones would be a good comparison.
Like Babyface is the closest thing that we have to that. And you know, it's dope, but you really don't feel his presence like that. Like even the little white kids still knew who Quincy Jones was. Babyface stepped up on a red carpet at a Naris event, and the little white girl was like, "Okay, hold up, there's someone relevant." Like they had to actually have the media come and be like, "Oh my God, that was terrible the way Babyface was overlooked like that." That goes to show you how much they've taken the importance, the relevance, and the history away from black music.
Yeah.
So, all right, Rachel, next time. But yeah, let's keep on moving. Let's keep on moving because we could talk about this stuff
Yeah,
all day.
yeah, and it'll just do nothing but piss me off. Let's do this though. This right here is what people
Oh,
have been talking about. Oh, what happened?
somebody said they got this comment in. The Isley brothers. We ain't got no Isley brothers either.
Jag, one of my mentors, and I were going to work on a documentary about the disappearance of the um black band. And I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna continue and I'm gonna finish it. I think I'm gonna finish it. You might be the right person to actually partner with on this because you know so many musicians. You like we were gonna just talk about the bands from the 60s, the bands from the 70s, funk, all that, then we get to the 90s and it was like mint condition. And you could even say the Roots, but that was the last
Nah,
band.
you can't even say the Roots. And I know a lot of people want to give a lot of credit to the Roots because, they've made it as a fixture somewhere in the pop culture realm because they're the Tonight Show band. But the truth is, can't put them in it. It's to a certain extent you can, and then to a certain extent you can't. Like I can't put them in the same. And I was a part. So great instrumentation, great music, but don't forget they were a hip hop band. Um, you can't put them in the same category as a mint condition.
No,
You
no, no,
can't
you
put
can't.
them in
Hell
the
no.
same category, like
No,
not at
I was
all.
being nice. No, I
Okay.
literally was being nice because um he never mentioned the Roots. In fact, we were talking about the internet the other day, right? And
Yeah.
you and I were talking about it. When I first got that CD, I brought it to him and he was like, I don't like this shit. Now, mind you, this guy is a music guy. Like I learned so much from music on him. I'm just glad he was in my life to teach me about just the separation between the frequency of the bass. He was a
And also
scientist.
salute to the elements,
Yeah, he was a
Earth, Wind, and
scientist.
Fire,
We talked about them to
Parliament
and
Funkadelic,
so he
James Brown.
but
Like,
he
jeez,
used to
man.
help he helped manage James Brown. That's what I'm like this dude was a G, a straight G.
Yeah, well, listen
And
to me. We got to cut this short. We got to move on because we will keep talking about this.
we'll keep talking about it, but I do want to just get this. I think that documentary or project would be dope. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it would be. And salute to BL the Bag Lady. Welcome, welcome to Jag Nation. No, so wait a minute. We already have a comment from our girl Veronica over there, just kicking it, just kicking it, just kicking it. Yeah, over there in Kickland. And don't forget, we are over there on kick.com/Jaguar Right. Going to be a lot more exclusive meetings and gatherings happening over there soon. So stay tuned to that. But Veronica says, naturally born to be attracted to the PYTs or the AKA young tenders. As you get older and older and older is crazy work. PDF, indeed, indeed.
They're called maps, and I think we'll start the conversation with that. This is very disturbing. Maps, minor attracted person. What Funky Dineva recently said.
And we have to be careful because
Yeah,
saying the MINORS
yeah,
can, so
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so let's just say it like this. What Funky Dineva recently said about people who have a natural attraction
To the
to what's the
tenders.
new word? The
To the
tenders.
Yeah, to the
To the
tenders.
tenders.
Or the PYTs. Whether
The
we call it the PYT or call it the young tender. Y'all know what we saying.
Yeah, because we're not gonna say certain terms because yeah. Now he also says what he believes people can be born with the same attraction, the same way people can be born that other side, the alternative side, alternative lifestyle. MAP, y'all. I'm not gonna repeat it, but y'all that's
Do we have a
where
clip?
had it?
Do we have a clip?
Did you send it?
Well,
Because I
no,
don't.
not for this.
I can. Well, go ahead. I can find it. Go
I
ahead.
sent you clips for other things. I don't know because do you have those?
Yeah, I do. Hmm.
Okay. No, because there was actually there was another channel that covered it. Tough News. He covered it. So I don't know if you want to share
Mm-mm.
that under fair use.
We're not playing his stuff. Sorry.
Okay. Well,
So
apparently
I'll find it.
this
I'll
clip was
find
on
it.
TikTok as well. But
Okay. I'll find it.
there was a clip of Funky Dineva. He had on his channel decided to share his sympathy for people who are attracted to the young tenders. And mm, I know a lot of people are pissed off, and I know a lot of people are outraged. And in my opinion, there are not enough people that are pissed off, and there are not enough people that are outraged because what he said was absolutely insane. And what I thought was really crazy was he said, I'm not talking about people who have actually engaged and have actually, committed crimes, by taking the feelings beyond feelings and acted out on them. He said, I'm just talking about the people who it's in their minds, the burden that they feel. He said it was uh actually let's let him talk about it.
Give me 1 second.
I
Hmm.
I feel bad for anyone who wakes up one day and discovers that they have a sexual attraction to children. Listen to me carefully, and I'm not talking about people who have acted on it. I am not talking about people who have acted on it or harmed children. Listen carefully. I feel bad for someone who woke up one day and without any choice of their own had for them what was a natural attraction to children. I feel like it's a burden that none of us would ever want to carry. And I always say I'm very fascinated by the human brain. And I am. And I guess the reason why I am able to have this level of introspection when it comes to people who have a pedophile
No, God.
problem is because oftentimes the general society.
What'd you say?
He said problem that have a problem.
Huh.
A PDF a problem.
Loves to throw the LGBT community in that same bucket with them. And I just like to speak in possibilities, right? If it is possible with no input of my own that I was born gay and that I was born with an attraction to men. I do believe that it is possible that somebody can be born with an attraction to children. I do. And again, I'm not attempting to excuse it, and I'm not trying to make it right or anything. I just do. And it would have to suck to one day wake up and be like, I'm attracted to 11-year-olds. And that there's nothing that I can do about that attraction. And again, I'm not talking about acting on it. I'm simply talking about the attraction.
Let's pause it right
That
there.
has to be a heavy cross to bear.
Let's pause it right there. See, this is the issue that I have with so-called smart ninjas. Because what he did there was very clever. It was very, 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 very clever. I want to read you guys something. Okay? There are a couple of ways that this could be addressed, but I want to go back to the Bible. Okay? Don't hate on me. I got my old lady readers on. The Bible treats internal thoughts and external physical actions as deeply connected, often viewing the intent of the heart as morally equivalent to the physical act itself. Yeshua and the apostles taught that sin originates in the mind and desires before it ever becomes a physical reality. Okay? We have scriptures. For instance, like Matthew 28. I'm going to take these off because it's driving me crazy. We have scriptures like Matthew 28. Okay, in Matthew 28, it's very simple. But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Okay, this is Yeshua linking internal mental thought directly to the physical sin. We also have John 1 or 1 John chapter 3 verses 15. Everyone who hates his brother is an unaliver. And you know that no unaliver has eternal life abiding in him. Okay? This is linking internal anger and hatred are equated as one and the same to the physical act of unaliving someone. We have Matthew 15, 19, 20. For out of the heart come evil thoughts, unaliving, adultery, SA, theft, false witness, liars, slander. These are what defile a person, okay? And this is highlighting that thoughts are listed as co-originators and equal defilers alongside physical crimes, okay? So let's just be clear, okay? All right, now let's talk about the source and the battle of flesh versus mental desire. James chapter 1, 14 through 15. But each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desire. Then desire, when it has convinced, gives birth to sin. And sin brings forth demise. Okay. And this outlines the progression from internal thought, desire, to physical action. Now we could keep reading. I think that's enough to make it very clear that there is scriptural evidence that highlights and outlines that there is no difference. If it is in your mind, if it is in your heart, you might as well have already committed that act. So, can we rewind a little bit? Can we go back a little bit with what Funky Dineva was saying? Because I just want to.
If I would have downloaded it, I would have been able to go
Well,
back.
then we could.
This
All right, that's fine. Then we could just start it all over again. Let's just play it again. We can just play it again because I want you guys. I read the
Feel
scripture. Listen.
I feel bad for anyone who wakes up one day and discovers that they have a sexual attraction to children. Listen to me carefully, and I'm not talking about people who have acted on it. I am not talking about people who have acted on it or harmed children.
Can we
listen
pause?
carefully. I feel bad.
Do you hear what he just did? I'm not talking about people who have acted on it. I'm not talking about people who have hurt the young tender. It doesn't matter. As taught to us by one of the greatest teachers, actually, by the greatest teacher and interpreter of God's wants and desires for humanity and the law, God's law. What you are saying, Quentin, is absolute bogus. There is no difference. Now, if you want to argue with God's word that was taught and came out of Yeshua's mouth, feel free and do that. But the only kind of person that would do something like that is a pure deviant and demon themselves. I want y'all to just look and listen to how carefully he's making excuses for demonic behavior. Let's go.
For someone who woke up one day and without any choice of their own had for them what was a natural attraction to children. I feel like it's a burden that none of us would ever want to carry. And I always say I'm very fascinated by the human brain.
Fascinating.
And I am. And I guess the reason why I am able to have this level of introspection when it comes to people who have a pedophile problem is because oftentimes the general society loves to throw the LGBT community in that same bucket with them. And I just like to speak in possibilities, right? If it is possible
Can we can
with
cut. We can cut. Let's be clear with your funky ass. People aren't throwing these weirdos into the LGBTQIA plus community. These people are operating within this community as members of this community. And then this community uses their rainbow flag. A community that technically I'm a part of as a bisexual woman. Uses this flag to allow weirdos to hide behind it. See, this is what I've been saying when I say I have a really, really, really hard time with this community at this point in time. Because all of these different identifications or identifiers, gay, lesbian, bi, trans, pan, like all of these different identifiers, it creates this vast array of people in all kinds of different proclivities and I don't care where we look, there is a weirdo popping out behind each one of these identities. We got David out here about to face trial for doing what he did to an underage tender. And we see how Celeste Rivas Hernandez ended up. Let's not forget, there's this like viral picture of David Burke with a t-shirt on that says, what is it? Is it or something like, it's gay, I'm in. Something like that, like, if it's gay, I'm in. There's all kinds of suspicion that he was having relations with his Asian best friend Neo, but no one's certain about that. But what we do know of him and his intimate choices, or his choices for intimacy, is that he spent a lot of time messing with underage tenders. Straight PDF of behavior. We got Saucy Santana sitting there talking about, on a post on social media, how tenders want to F him. And nobody's saying anything. He sits down with Cam Newton and does this big interview. And then the next thing you know, he's all over social media promoting a song. What is it? Something Quiet Creep. What is it called?
Quiet on the
Quiet
Creep.
when you creep. Quiet on the Creep. Which, if you listen to the lyrics of the full song, it's PDF. It's encouraging and promoting PDF behavior. We'll say allegedly, but that's what the song is, low key encouraging, this quiet on the creep. Meanwhile, he's got a viral little short TikTok clip or whatever with Lizzo promoting this quiet on the creep. and nobody's saying anything. The same Lizzo who was busy speaking up for the Carters, speaking up for the Diddler, speaking up for all things, industry and weird, who's so desperate to sell a record that she's going to low key promote a song that's subliminally encouraging PDF behavior with someone who recently just went viral for saying that kids want to F them. A whole man in makeup who runs around busted open in all of this craziness, who's best friends with the other idiot telling everybody to become a thief and then spin it. We got serious issues. Meanwhile, he's sitting here and it's just so divisive the way he's talking about if you're born, how you're born. Well, I was born to be attracted to this. So if you can be born to be attracted to this, then I think it's only reasonable that you can be born to be attracted to that. The simple fact that you would even align the two, this is the reason why people target the rainbow community. Because of stupid shit like that. Saying insane things like that. And the simple fact that these people are not being held accountable for it. Because these are the voices that they have who have big loudspeakers on the internet. Because the truth is, I don't know nobody from the rainbow community that's in their right mind, that's not a weirdo, that would ever say anything like that. So, because the truth is what you're doing is you're asking for sympathy for a monster. I want to talk about Jeffrey Dahmer. Can we talk about Jeffrey Dahmer for a second?
Yeah.
We all know who Jeffrey Dahmer is. Jeffrey Dahmer was a serial unaliver who has now passed away because he was unalived in jail after being convicted for hunting down a bunch of gay men, luring them to his place, and after having intimacy with them, took their lives and then consumed their flesh. Now, for those who have done any kind of research, going back to looking at the history and the life of Jeffrey Dahmer, he was actually born that way. They studied his brain. His mother had taken so many pharmaceuticals prescribed to her by her doctor while she was pregnant with him. It literally changed the composition of his brain and created inabilities to be able to feel empathy like normal people do, to be able to make rational, sound judgment as a human being. From a small child, he showed a great lust for necrophilia and necromancy. Kind of like David Burke. Could we not compare the two? because David Burke has had a red rum lust and necromancy long before he started making records. Is that a fair comparison, Odell?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're talking about Jeffrey Dahmer, who was actually born this way, to have the feelings that he had. And you want to know what's so ironic? He was running around taking the lives and eating on the flesh of people that look just like you, Funky Dineva. A good share of his victims looked just like you and met him in the gay clubs, knowing that nobody would really bother him for y'all going missing. Like, he was born that way. Imagine someone sitting around and saying, "Oh, my heart goes out to poor Jeffrey, the burden he must have felt." For him to just wake up and have this dire need to hunt and take the lives of and gobble up gay men like Funky Dineva, because that's what he did. Am I making sense? I just want to put a 1 in the chat if I'm making sense to y'all. Imagine me sitting online and advocating for sympathy for Jeffrey Dahmer, because he was actually born that way. Imagine someone sitting around and saying, "Oh my God, the poor affliction," because he woke up and he was born that way. He didn't have any choice. Imagine. Imagine someone having the audacity to sit there and to try to create feelings of sympathy for a monster. Because there are still people now out there in the world on the dark net who like have these thoughts, the same kind of thoughts that Jeffrey Dahmer did. And they collect pictures of people and they have these lustful fantasies. And they buy real dolls and they practice on them what they would do if they could get their hands on a real person. I'm Odell, can you tap in for a second? Because I'm trying not to get too emotional about it, but am I making sense? You're muted. I don't know if you know that, but you're muted.
No, yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head. I guess I lost the connection. It muted me. Anybody familiar? Because you're talking about Jeffrey Dahmer.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all let me know if you guys are familiar with this book. And if you're not, you definitely want to go check it out. Shout out to the cows, the context of white supremacy. They put me up on this. This book came out in 2014. It's called The Delectable Negro: Human Consumption and Homoeroticism Within the U.S. Slave Culture. So this goes back to what you just, you talked about slavery and, so this goes back, but you can, Sankofa, y'all, you can always look back. It's an African thing. You look back to move forward, right? Funky Dineva. Well, first, okay, Jeffrey Dahmer, and you're right. That's why I say look up this book. Funky Dineva would have been a delectable Negro to Jeffrey Dahmer,
He sure would have.
And But Funky Dineva doesn't even understand what he's doing. And I get what you're saying because you were right for calling him out in regards to stoking the flames of this racial tension in America when he was on Don Lemon. Now what he's doing is excuse me, speaking up for the maps. And we already know what the M stands for maps, attracted person, right? And remember,
Tinder attracted, young
yeah,
Tinder attracted person.
yeah, I just said, yeah. Now, remember, I guess he's a cross dresser or something, right? Because I've seen him, if you Google
He
him, you'll
used to
see
be
that.
a man in he used to spend more time as a man in makeup until he got on Fox Soul and decided that he wanted to start, being more male presenting. But yeah, he used to get online look like a whole fucking clown.
Delete, wait, okay, my said delete the last two as well. Okay, let me
He
do
is
some,
literally,
hold on.
he is literally this foolishness that he's doing with this whole sympathy for PDFs. He's literally proving my point at why I said what I said about him regarding the Nolan Wells situation.
Mm-hmm.
He's proving my point. So for everybody who got off in the last video where I was talking about Funky Dineva sitting with Don Lemons and doing what he was doing and stoking the flames on that phone call that has yet to be completely authenticated and acknowledged as real. Am I wrong about that?
No.
That call is still yet to be. The last thing we heard was that Ben Crump had a team, an official team working on it, and we still ain't got no word back. Still ain't got no word back yet. But Funky Dineva was over there with Don Lemon with thousands upon thousands of people watching. He's a race beta. He's a rage beta. And now he's a PDF beta.
I
Go ahead.
mean, yeah, no. I'm glad you're speaking on it like you're speaking on it because it's like they got to introduce the world to their way of life. And I say that with all due respect. I don't really care too much about the community he comes from like that. But him dressing up as a woman, and then they used to have, or they still do, they have those types reading books to children to get children to kind of, soften up. Oh, this is fine. A woman with a beard, right? I mean, back in the day, I just couldn't see that.
You want to
Like
know
we
about
were
it?
not allowing.
No, because certain behaviors do not need to be pushed on children.
That part. That's what I'm talking about. If you're grown, you do what you do. That's fine. But they were softening up for children, and they even
This is
had
such
a
this is
they
such
they
a hard conversation for me because I have transgenders in my life who I love, who I care about, who came to my home, who were welcomed into my home around my kids.
well, I remember they were singing a song talking about we're coming for your children. Um, and again,
But
remember what I said.
but
Maps,
that
y'all. The
that's
maps, the M
mm,
attracted person. They are introduce. He's introducing this conversation because there are people like that out there. And a lot of them don't look like Funky Dineva. They look the other hue. They look like something else. But there are people like that, the maps, and they got it. They're look.
a good share of them are white. Let's just keep it a buck. They're white. But they come in all shapes and sizes and
Yeah,
forms
they
and
do.
colors.
Because it's not just white. I'm just I was just
I'm just
basically
saying
making a point.
if you look no, but if you go and you look at the statistics, There's more white people that are maps than
Yeah.
any other color.
So him making this statement here and saying what he just said is
It's disgusting. It's
deplorable.
disgusting. And I'm gonna tell you
Deplorable.
why it's disgusting. And I'm gonna tell you why it's deplorable. And I'm gonna tell you why it is so divisive and so slick. Because just a few days ago, just last week, you were sitting there condemning Sydney Starr and saying how nobody from the community feels bad for Sydney Starr being arrested and being in jail for what they did. And now you turn around a week later and try to create a sympathy defense for that weirdo. It's people like this funky bitch who we really should be getting the fuck up off the internet. Because what he did, well, it was so slick. It was so very slick and disgusting. The question is, who paid him to say it?
That part. That's why I mentioned the maps.
Who paid him to say it? How do you go from denouncing Sydney Starr last week to low-key creating a sympathy campaign and an empathy campaign for this kind of behavior this week? And anybody who's got something to say about it and want to have anything to say about it, please rewind and go back to the scriptures that I shared with you from the Bible about what Christ had to say regarding sins in the mind versus in the body. There are no difference. There is no different. Talking about being born this way. You know, I was going to go in, I was going to clown, but the more I think about it, this is too serious to create jokes around. This is too serious to lighten the severity of what he has done in any way, shape, or form. I was going to clown him. I was going to drag him. I was going to do all of that. And you know what? It's inappropriate. See, those scriptures that I shared, that's what people should really be paying attention to and asking, who are we encouraging and promoting and following online? Because this funky bitch, like 80%, or maybe somewhere between 65 and 80% of his audience are female. And most of that audience are black females. Just like the rest of these little it's these people that they have online that give the gay people that I know, the lesbian people that I know, the trans people that I know, the bi people that I know. Y'all make these people look like monsters with the things you say, the things you promote. And when I think about all these so-called heterosexual black females that encourage and prop these people to fuck up, it makes me sick. What are you encouraging? What are you promoting? There was another gay man just recently online saying very, 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 very inappropriate things about a young child. People made it content. People talked about it, but ain't nobody shutting down these channels. Because the truth is, this statement that this funky bitch made, it should have been reported. Because it literally sounds like you low-key glazing for predators. Oh, I just couldn't imagine waking up. Oh, I couldn't imagine the burden that it must be to wake up and to have no choice. Oh, we all have a choice. We all have a choice. See, if you got wrong thoughts in your mind, the job should be to repent and correct and change your mind pattern. Because something's wrong with you. Period. But you sitting there trying to find correlation between someone being attracted to the same gender as someone who's attracted to a young tender? That's the reason why people hate the community. Because that's worse than a slippery slope. That's a shitty avalanche that ends in the pits of hell. I is there anything else to say about this? I don't know, because I'm
I'm done with all these weirdos at this point, because like I said, you can see right through them. You know what I'm saying? You can really see right through them.
there should be more outrage.
Oh yeah.
There should be more outrage. There should be. And all of the content creators, like, my question is what does Don Lemon got to say about this? Since you want to align yourself with this weirdo. I'm very fascinated in the human mind and how the human mind works. That's not a human mind. That's a demon possessed mind. And for those of you who want to watch and have something to say about what I want to say, why don't you grab up some of these scriptures and drop them off over there in the comments at the Funky Bitch house? And tell him to go read those the next time he starts talking about, oh, I'm not talking about people who have acted on it and people who have hurt kids, because what you're saying is as long as it's just in your mind, it's okay. It's not. And don't argue with me about it. Argue with Christ. Argue with Yeshua. Argue with the scripture. We do too much playing online. Too much filtering things. Too much trying to water things down, and it's bullshit. And all of you black women that support content creators like these, who say these things, who do these things, who think this way, you should all be ashamed of yourself. Or just start identifying as weirdo gay men yourself. Since you like talking like them and acting like them and being like them, living your tea. There's too many blurred lines, and it's creating too much confusion. And the only thing that it's doing is opening up the door for more victimization of innocent people, innocent tenders. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. There is no way in the world heterosexual culture and alternative lifestyle culture should bleed over into each other as much as they do. They different gangs. We done got to the point where inclusion has done nothing but cause confusion. It's time to start creating some boundaries. Because when you start talking like this weirdo's talking, inclusion has turned into confusion. It's disgusting. And it's a shame because it literally is mocking, just making a mockery. Yeah, I'm good. I'm done. I done pretty much said all I got to say about any of this today. What's up, Spesh? Yeah, and for those of you who want to come through here calling yourself wanting to drag me and talk about my appearance and tell me how I'm not cute or how I ain't got no hair and I don't wear no weave and I don't do nope, this is me. This is me. The actual me. Stop worrying about how I look. Focus on what I'm saying. Focus on what I'm saying. Don't come through here and argue with me by going to call yourself trying to rage bait me into having a conversation with you about something as mundane as looks or wardrobe or appearance. Who cares? When we got the kind of stuff going on that we have going on in the world right now, we need to start addressing these so-called industry representatives who are coming out here doing nothing but sowing hell into the community. And meanwhile, these things make it to court and there's no justice for any of the victims. But the victim making machine just keeps on keeping on. I can't. And I'm done. Is that all for today?
That's it.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap up the rest of what we were going to talk about tomorrow because we have a kicking Patreon tomorrow. So yeah, we'll get into that over there. But I'm telling you, we have to stop watching these people. We have to start learning what to turn off. Now, before we go, hey, Believe, good to see you. Before we go, I just wanted to acknowledge we have some chats and just do a quick acknowledgement before we go. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I think we pick up from here. Yes, here we are. Salute to God's chosen. Thank you so much for the jewels. Mayad again. Salute. Kingdom Beauty. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. BJ NVA. I'm not exactly sure how to say that. We'll just say, hey, BJ, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Sweets, yet again. Lady Geo, thank you. Rachel, appreciate you yet again. Akshaya, salute to you. some of our wonderful, lovely members that come through here. Caprice, thank you so much. Maria B, Never Your Angel. We have Thank Sovereign. Salute. Thank you so much. Mandita. And I think we have a few more. Geneva, I think we have here per Kitty. Salute to you, Honey B. The one and only Keem, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Mayat, yet again, appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mayat, for the super chat. And I think the last one we had, Shannon, appreciate you. Alia, thank you so much. And that's it for today. We want to thank everyone who contributed to the platform. We want to thank everybody who was here. Salute to our members. Salute to our subscribers and anyone new who came in. And we did have a new subscriber. Bag Lady, appreciate you. Is there any other thing that we need to address before we go?
No,
Or we
that's
need
it.
to yes, thank you to all who donated. Appreciate you. All right, guys, we're out of here. Remember, don't believe the hype. Like seriously. Don't 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 believe the hype. Don't. Because there's a lot of hype out here. And there's not enough outrage. All right, guys. Peace and salute to Jag Nation. Till we meet again.